Season about May, June. So we had some you pick blackberries in early summer. So we had families come out. That's actually right when COVID was peak. So we only did appointment only. We would space the families out. They would have 30 minutes to the field by themselves.
Oh, that's
And then
neat.
the next family would come in. It was a really fun time.
So the pick the berries, that was the first event you kind of
Yes,
had?
yeah.
And then, so the fall thing that happened this weekend, that was...
This fall was our first technical ever event. Hillary, my son, and her son are great friends.
Mm-hmm.
We really hit it off when we first met, and she always does her carving contest, and she always goes to parks she go to Acton Park or a park in Valencia, and she said, what if I handed out the pumpkins here as opposed to out there? And we said definitely, because it's something for, she reaches out to mostly not clients but friends and people she knows, so they come out, pick out a pumpkin, take it home and carve it, and so she does it every year. And so we just teamed up this year.
It was great to incorporate that with what you did yesterday.
I agree.
Because everything worked out, the Scarecrow thing, the photos, people walking through, and it was just such a family fun thing to do. And it's really neat that you're here because, you know, we got the Bloom Ranch that is now just up the road, and they've done so much with that ranch since they bought it, and but they're two totally different things. So if somebody wanted to come here and go there, it's two totally different things.
And it happens quite often where they're like, we're on our way to Bloom and we stopped by, we saw you guys on the way, or vice versa. They told us to come and visit. We're great friends with Heather, who works up there. And Chris rides by on his bike very often, so he'll stop by and say hi when he's riding by, or in his car he'll pull over if he sees me working outside. So we go, and my husband and I go over there quite often just to go and say hi.
It's just nice to hang out, just like it was here yesterday. It's just nice to hang out.
Definitely. And create that connection in small farms. And it's important. It's a dying art.
It is, and it's so great to see young families like yourselves doing this, because maybe your kids will get interested, and it's just a neat thing.
They do. They help us all the time. They work with us out here. There's only so much that they can handle. But my son helps us plant all the seedlings. Him and I are pretty much my daughter and him plant all the seeds, so they get all the trays ready. I tell them where, because some seeds need to be buried, some don't, some are surface. So they pretty much plant all the seeds as I prepare the trays for them. We start everything here in our greenhouse in January, our hoop house when it gets a little too hot. We start everything, all of these except for our roses were started from a seed.
Wow.
And so the kids help us with that. They help us pull out plants. My son's getting stronger than I am now, so he pulls his weight a lot. He's moving things around for us. But no, they don't realize how much they're learning as they're out here.
Yeah, and it's actually the homeschooling is great now, and with the COVID, it's because they are learning to do more things day-to-day things that this is a learning
they get
environment.
Their science out here. We did a science lesson, and we skipped sessions because we already knew about seeds and growing and composting and soil.
Right.
So they're learning a lot. We're really, as you see with the mulch, this for the life of this property was horse pasture. So you used to just have a pasture seed on it. So once we started with our plants, we're really starting to rejuvenate that soil again.
Now, how long have you been here? Because when I first drove by a while ago, you had sunflowers, and I remember seeing the pretty sunflowers, and I thought, how neat! Whoever got that property is now doing sunflowers. But then all of a sudden you were this beautiful flower ranch. So, I mean, it happened pretty quick, right?
This will be, do you want me to wait for the train?
No, it's okay.
Okay, this will be our 4th year, going into our 5th year.
Wow.
It's our first full year selling flowers. So we did we've been growing flowers here since we bought the property.
Oh, okay.
But it was testing varieties, figuring it out.
Okay.
We fell in love with certain varieties. Our celosia we fall in love with. Different varieties of zinnias. We started with 3 varieties of flowers, and this year we've grown over 40 varieties of flowers.
Wow.
And are still testing them out. In the back over there we have shorter groups of flowers back here.
Oh, that's neat.
And so now, as opposed to just having 1 variety of celosia, we have 4, and we're growing different ones to see what do well here, because we grew up in San Gabriel Valley. We really want to not fight nature. We really want to plant things that do well in the heat, which a lot of these are just really impressing us. Like our basil. This is our flowering basil right here. So we have 3 varieties of basil. We've grown over 8 varieties of basil, but we have our favorites. So these ones are a traditional basil with beautiful purple flowers. The next one is a cinnamon basil, and then the last one is a citrus basil. Really tastes like lemon, and this really tastes like cinnamon. It's pretty neat.
And what you were saying about not using pesticides, that's really important with this. So you're using just the irrigation system and the mulch and like vitamins type stuff?
We do a lot of compost fertilization. So we do, if you dug in any one of these holes, you would dig out many worms. So we're trying to, the fabric is more to help with the weeds, especially out here in the desert climate. You get any bit of moisture on a desert seed and it shoots right up.
Right.
But the plants, yeah, we mostly do. We do feed them. We do have different natural fertilizers. So not so much fertilizer, but I'm trying to think of the word. We use neem oil to deter pests. We use, gosh, I can't think of the word right now. Just different
like soils,
flower foods, and nitrogen, different things. So if there's an imbalance in the soil, we really work with it. Our berries love nitrogen, so our neighbor who has all these pine trees used to throw away all her pine needles. Now she just dumps them over the fence.
Oh, I didn't know that was a source.
Yeah.
Oh.
But they're very rich in nitrogen, so we mix that in, and we'll be adding a bunch of it to the mulch that we add to our berries.
So you and your husband Mike are both into this, or did you study this, or are you just a natural at it?
No, this is a lot of work. We, my husband works in commercial air conditioning. He always grew up with a backyard garden. His dad, he's first generation Italian, both parents born in Italy, so he grew up always with something growing in the backyard. And so he always had a garden. I never had a garden. But I got my degree in architecture, so kind of the design and work element came into that. But we wanted something, because with the way everything's going in society, we wanted something to teach our children, because at some point we want our children to know that they could take care of themselves, that if something really bad happened, which we experienced with COVID, where you know, there was no food in the market, you could take care of yourself. And we want them to learn not just technology, but also the other side, where you know that you can sustain your family very simply and without the use of a lot of chemicals and a lot of things. So we really try to push that for them, and just teaching them hard work and teaching them that they could live off the land. We grew up in a really tight, both my husband and I, close to freeways, really tight homes, and to come out here and be able to let our kids run out without us having to follow them was huge. And out here in Acton, you feel safe. You feel really safe out here. We love living out here. Stars every night. It's pretty.
And the weather is usually very good. Very few cold winter days. I mean, it's usually pretty nice up here.
So the hardest thing here is the wind. We really have to fight the wind out here. We interplant our tomatoes with our basil to create it's about biodiversity, not creating a monocrop, which you see in a lot of large farms. You just grow corn, you just grow broccoli, you just grow one thing, creating the mix. So we grow our tomatoes with our basil, with our marigolds, with celosia and cosmos. They bring in the beneficial insects. If you come out here during the day, there's thousands of bees and hundreds of birds, and the birds don't attack our fruit, but they're getting the grasshoppers and the seed and all those little things in here. So it's a great little mix. And then we added our chickens. We had our chickens in the back, but we're able to create this little spot for them. So eventually our chickens will be in these whole rows. We'll create a little temp fence, and they will actually amend our soil as much as we can. We'll add some mulch in there, and they'll eat all the worms and grubs and all that. So when we take our compost out, this is our compost pile over here. When it's gone, we move our chickens out there, and they eat all the fun stuff that sits in the bottom.
Okay. And these are your greenhouses?
Yes, so our greenhouse and our shade house. Our greenhouse is really great in the winter. My husband, this is a kit we bought for a company that works with a lot of small farms. It's a really great temporary. So it's you don't need permits. It's just pretty no cement, just into the ground. And him and I built it with our kids after we had all those crazy rains last year.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that was kind of nutty.
But yeah,
That's
it
great.
works really, really well. We start in the greenhouse in January, and then move to the hoop house once it gets too hot in there. It'll really get to the point where you can't even walk in that
Oh, really?
greenhouse. It gets, yeah, it's very hot, where I'm just like roasting in there. And that's about June, and then we switched our seedlings here because the seedlings they can't get too hot, or else they'll have a lower germination rate as well.
Okay.
So it's figuring out that balance. But we've really loved it. We've really loved doing this. So what started with the flowers is we needed pollinators for our berries. And so we did a lot of research and found some great books, and then fell in love with flowers. And then we started with just these rows, and then added these rows, and then added the front rows, and then added in front of the house.
Right.
It's never ending. It's a never ending little endeavor out here.
And so when you had the idea for the fall experience with Hillary, did you have the idea of the Scarecrow Alley? You had something in mind, or just all kind of came about?
The Scarecrow was more to have something, just another fun, because you can't ask people to come out and carve a pumpkin on site. It's kind of crazy. It'd be really messy. And we always have scarecrows out here on the property. My kids and I built one last year. We called him Duke. And the one that we made this year, I forgot what my son, Bill, our scarecrow this year was named Bill. So we always build one every year. And so adding that, we want to really bring people back to see where their food can come from. It doesn't need to come from the market in a plastic box. Right. It can't even just encouraging one family to grow a tomato plant or to harvest their aunt's lemon tree. Like it saddens me to go into town and see these citrus and lemon trees full of fruit, and they just nothing comes of them.
Yeah.
If we could just have a little bit of something where we don't have to truck these products in for thousands of miles.
Right.
We're lucky in California, though. We don't have to truck things too far. But, a lot of stuff comes from a great distance because that's how our economy and society and market, they're built up.
And you're right, COVID was an eye-opener.
It really was.
Because if you can grow a lot of things, I mean, you'd be surprised, like you just said, your berries or different vegetables and fruit, that's already quite a bit right there on your plate. So...
Yeah, and they come from really far, and that's just kind of there's a new wave of small farms that are kind of rising up. There's one in Moore Park that's really great, Apricot Lane Farms. There's even just Bloom sustaining that homestead, that historic homestead. I hope that I was glad when that family bought it, when Chris and Barb bought it.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to turn into something so magnificent for the community.
I agree.
Because it's just nice just to walk around there just like it is here. And people need that. You need to get back in touch with nature, and especially because we've been cooped in, right, because of COVID. You have to stay in. So when you get to go out here in the fresh air where there's not a lot of people and it's safe, it's we're so lucky.
I agree. I totally agree.
And it's so nice that you open up your property for people to do that.
It was a great time this weekend.
Yeah.
There was a lot of families.
Yeah.
And then spread out. And the good thing about being outside is you don't have, it is the best place to be in the sun and fresh air. And
it was a great weekend weather-wise too.
We had a great time out here.
So now you're going to be closed for a while as you get ready for the next set.
Yeah, we'll probably still be open by appointment.
Okay.
So people, because we won't tear obviously it's just my husband and I, we won't be taking everything out all at once. We're going to start in the front beds because that's where we start a lot of our bulbs. So in the front beds with the zinnias, those are the most prone for frost damage. They'll be the first ones to go just because they love the heat. So as soon as it gets cold, they start to struggle, and we already see their struggle. And so we'll be taking the zinnias out first. A lot of these other ones, especially our celosia, are they're tough plants. They were the last ones to fade last year. So we'll be slowly moving from the front to the back, and then in spring we'll have like March, we'll have all of our spring crops, as well as our roses will be coming out about Mother's Day, early May. But this is our first year with our roses. We planted them as a bare root, and so by next year they'll be about 4 and 5 feet tall. Which is pretty crazy. So
and you told me those were the English roses will be out, and then you planted pumpkins over there. Okay. So maybe next year you'll even have a bigger fall festival.
I know.
Yeah.
We have plans to expand. We had our chickens in this back area by this tree, our little spooky tree right there, a little cottonwood that I think got bark beetle, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we'll be expanding our pumpkin patch to that area.
Very cool.
My husband is a drip master. He's a self-taught YouTube reading up. So my husband and I are constantly reading. We read on every variety because we don't want to grow something here that we have to necessarily pamper. We don't want greenhouse plants out here. We want stuff that's going to thrive in this zone. So when we're in off season, we're completely reading every single resource we can to see what will thrive in this climate.
This is really neat. And can you tell me again what you might be doing in December with the wreaths, the holiday wreaths? You might be doing a little workshop.
Yeah, we'll be doing a partnership. Not a partnership. We'll have a guest florist come in and teach the workshop. We'll host the event.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Using a lot of our dried flowers with either a grapevine wreath or some sort of support for it. Everything. She's a really great resource. Tries to use as much locally as she can, and so we'll be doing a wreath workshop that is something that'll last a very, very long time. I have some of our dried flowers from last December still in my kitchen, as bright as they were the day that I pulled them out of the ground. So they're really great. It's these celosia. They're really, really great, and we grew more dried varieties this year.
It's amazing all the different colors. When you start looking at, there are so many colors out here.
Especially this time of day. This is the best time of day
Actually,
to be
it is.
Because I love how the sun filters through the pumpkin leaves. Even if we didn't get a single fruit, like that makes me so happy to see, just to sit out here at this time of day. And they say that the average American spends 5% of their day outside. And that's because we are out here as much as we can.
Right.
The kids and I, they're always out here playing with the cats and feeding the chickens, and we have our pups. They're in the back because they'll bark while we're out here. But
but it's so great for them to be out and out learning and having fun and getting fresh air. Definitely. I mean, you can't beat it.
No, I agree.
It's different. Like you said, you grew up in the San Gabriel Valley. I grew up in Glendale, so I know what the city, it's a totally different environment.
Very different. I mean, we would go outside and all you hear was a freeway. And yes, you can hear the road and the freeway from here.
But it's different.
It's completely different.
It's a different type of noise.
Yeah, especially in acting, there's a certain time where the drive-through traffickers go away, and you just have local traffic, and it's really quiet. You have no rush hour.
No.
Because you can hit the Angeles from here, so we get a few passers through.
Yeah, when there's a problem on the freeway, of course, you get the people trying to rev up Aliso.
Yeah, do you remember last year that SIG alert that was right here?
Yeah.
And everybody it was bumper to bumper.
It was crazy.
They were sending them down Carson Mesa to the road.
I know, it was the GPS or whoever it was.
Oh my gosh, I bought my husband a Thomas guide that day. Because I'm like, you are not going to be one of the little, following that GPS that's sending you on a terrible road.
Yeah. It was bad all the way up, Aliso, I can tell you.
Huge trucks going down a dirt road. And you know that turn when you hit the end, it's not an easy one.
No, it's not.
You have to kind of go over and up and...
No, that was crazy. Luckily, we don't have too many of those.
This is Sienna.
Hi, Sienna.
Say hi.
Nice to meet you. You have a beautiful property.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's great out here, and I enjoyed coming yesterday, and people were so into the scarecrows, and that was a really neat idea.
It was really
and like Hillary said, she's hoping to make it a bigger scarecrow alley for you guys.
Yeah, and Heather too, she goes, I have a feeling pretty soon you guys are going to either need more fence posts or you're going to have to expand it over here, because these and all these ones were neighbors and friends. Since it's our first annual, we didn't want to, people wouldn't know what to expect, so now next year we could say, hey, sign up and come in early, because it's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. And if you want to take a picture of our winner, we'll be announcing the winner is the little Prego
that
Scarecrow.
one! Isn't that funny?
She was the winner.
That was the one that I saw. I thought that would get the most creative or something,
I know. The family's a really sweet family, and the mama's like, I'm going to do a pregnant Scarecrow. And I said, that's awesome.
I saw that, and I thought that was...
earrings and everything.
That was neat. That was neat, yeah.
Oh, where is he?
Right there.
Okay, good. Yeah, because the kitties, I wonder if the kitties chased him. Yeah, so this is
that's
our winner.
neat.
I'll be putting the picture up today.
Good.
On our Instagram that she's the winner.
Oh, great.
Yeah, with her earrings and everything. I thought she was so cute.
That's
Everybody
neat.
loved the little Prego Scarecrow.
Yeah, it's a girl. I like that. They were all really neat, though. I loved to see the scarecrows.
They were really sweet.
It was a really neat thing to do.
And most of the people want them back, too. I said, you guys can definitely have them. It's a great decor for your house.
Oh, yeah.
For your front of your house.
Oh, yeah. It's wonderful. You guys are doing just a wonderful thing here. It's just great. I hope you get a lot of community support. And I didn't know that you had been here a few years. I honestly thought it had just been a year.
Yeah, well, it was our first year out here. It was a lot of figuring things out and mapping things out and slowly building. Like I said, we started just down there. We started most of our seeds in the house for our first year because we didn't have the greenhouse. Now that we have the greenhouse, it's a great addition. We had about 70 trays of plants at one point, and there's 72 cells in each tray, so we had a lot of seedlings going. And that's when it gets exciting because you go from nothing to just all these little babies shooting up. And that's actually my husband backing in right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you got to say hi to him yesterday.
No, I didn't. You guys were so busy. I didn't want to.
It was very busy.
I just wanted you to have your.
We realized next year we need a few more hands on deck. Not that people needed help, but so we could sit down for a minute.
Yeah.
It was
a constant flow, which was nice.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Groups like 3 and 4 families at a time came out. Where normally on our normal Saturdays or Sundays, because we're normally open Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and then by appointment. And so normally we'll have one family come in. This was at some point there was groups of 15. It was really crazy.
Yeah.
We loved it though.
Well, I think the word is getting out more and more. Like I said, the women's club knew about it, and they were going to come and do something. So definitely, in a small town, the word will spread fast.
Yeah.
But this is awesome. This is just great. I can't wait to see the next event. Which will be by appointment only, obviously, because
it'll be like a prepaid invitation.
Okay.
You'll pay online and then you'll reserve your spot. Kind of similar to at the community center when they have the paint nights.
Oh, the paint nights, very similar.
Yeah, very similar to that. Our friend, she has she'll a little website. She'll take care of all the invites and stuff. But it'll be open to anybody.
Oh, good.
We have to keep the numbers low.
Yes.
It's not like the U-Pick where you can spread yourselves out in the field. We'll set you up at tables, so we just have to have only so many people.
Right, of course. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if I had such a great time. We were so tired, and then we got to see the Dodgers win, which was great.
I heard about that. That's awesome. Well, you guys are doing a wonderful thing here, and it's just a beautiful farm.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And there's Mike now.
Yes.
So we've been speaking with Anjanette Debellis, and now here's Mike. Hi. You have a beautiful farm. I got all the info from your wife.
Come over here so you can see.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
She came yesterday. I don't know if you had seen her wander around.
So we're here on Aliso Canyon at Debellis Ranch, which is a relatively new ranch here in Acton. They're a flower ranch, and they're having their first ever fall welcoming type of event with pumpkins and scarecrows and photo opportunities for families. And I believe this might be their last weekend that they're open before they start getting ready for the next crop of flowers. So we're going to take a look and see what they're doing here today. When the ranch first opened, they had a lot of sunflowers, I remember. And then they've grown into a lot of different types of flowers. And then like today they're having their little mini fall festival for families. So it would appear that different families in the community, members in the community made up different scarecrows, and they're having like a little competition of scarecrows. And that's really cool. That's a neat idea. Yeah. event, I believe, is being co-sponsored with Hillary Blaha, who's a realtor in town and a community member. And she's coordinating this event together with Debellis Ranch. And this is a really neat idea, all the different scarecrows. We have about 12 scarecrows or so.
Is there a place around here that sells like local money? Okay, and you know what? Hold on one second. I got it.
Go take pictures over here. This is definitely a neat ranch, and it's deceiving from the street how big it is. There's a lot to see here. Very nice. And it looks like every family gets to take home one pumpkin today until they run out of pumpkins. This has been going on all weekend. Never fails, motorcycles and big trucks go by when I'm when I'm filming. But yes, they are giving away one free pumpkin to each family until they run out. And this property really goes back. It's deceiving when you drive by on Aliso. And there's a little fella right there. Little cat. It's deceiving how deep these properties goes, but it really is beautiful what they've done. And like I said, I believe the end of their season is coming up, and they'll be getting ready for the next harvest. So hopefully we'll be talking to the Debellises and get their take on what they're doing here. And a little bit of history. Hillary Blaha was the president of ASMO, which is the Acton School Music Organization for the elementary and middle school here in Acton. And she was president for a few years, and Ann Jeanette served on her board. Ann Jeanette Debellis is the co-owner of this ranch, and she served on the ASMO board as well. So it's a small town, everything is interconnected sometimes. This is a really neat event, and it's great for Hillary to incorporate her pumpkin carving contest into this event today. So families have a chance to vote for their favorite scarecrow. They have a chance to take home a pumpkin until they run out of pumpkins, take a photo, walk through the ranch, enjoy, and if they want, I believe they're still doing the cut your own flowers, which you can do that for a small fee in a mason jar, take home some flowers. So this is really neat. Yeah. It is so nice to see these ranches coming to life with creative ideas. Here on Aliso Canyon now we have the Bloom Ranch, which since it's become Bloom Ranch, they have really done an amazing job allowing people to go and pick their fruit and enjoy the farm and take pictures, have events there, and of course their lovely store. And now we have another ranch on Aliso, the Debellis Ranch, which is a flower ranch, and this is really, really neat. When I get a chance to interview the Debellises, I'll ask them about the future and if they plan on having a pumpkin patch next year with real pumpkins and that they grow themselves. I'll ask them that. But that's really neat. It fits the lifestyle out here, definitely the country lifestyle. And they have a little flower shop which is open, and this is a neat little place. They have mason jars here and all kinds of little jars, dried flowers, different knickknacks. They've definitely done a lot of work here to make it what it is. And I was speaking with Hillary Blaha a few minutes ago, and she said they're hoping next year to make it the Scarecrow Alley here, which this is the first year of the Scarecrow Alley, to make it an annual thing and grow it bigger and bigger each year. This year, because schools are closed, they weren't able to reach out to the different grades and all the kids in the community. But maybe next year it'll be a bigger event with the kids in the community doing their scarecrows and making it even a bigger event for the community to come out and vote for their favorite scarecrow, and then make it a real large Scarecrow Alley throughout the years. And people are here voting for their favorite. I don't know if you can see, this is like a pregnant scarecrow with a little sonogram attached to its belly. That's funny. Very unusual. Unusual and creative, definitely. So maybe next year the different groups in the community, different organizations can get involved and have their own scarecrow as well as the kids. But for the first year, having about 12 scarecrows is a pretty good start. It's been a nice steady stream of people coming here today to visit, and some are cutting flowers, some are just enjoying walking through the property, taking photos, looking at the scarecrows, and taking home their pumpkin. So thank you to the Debellis family and to Hillary Blaha for this amazing event. So thank you to Mike and Anjanette Debellis from Debellis Ranch for their hospitality and giving us an information and education lesson on flowers, and it's great to have them in the community. Thank you for your time.